Good morning from Minnesota. Previously on the THP channel, we were in North Dakota and Jake shot a buck. Probably one of the coolest shots on a deer I've ever seen. If you want to watch that video, you can click the link right here. Then the next day, Ted shot a buck in Iowa during the early muzzleloader season. And if you haven't seen that video, you can click right here and watch that as well. But after the North Dakota hunt, Jake and Nick left to go back to Iowa. They're gonna be hunting there for a little bit. And I just was kind of hanging loose in North Dakota. Spent a day reorganizing, editing, doing podcasts, stuff like that. And then I was trying to decide where I wanted to go next, talk to the rest of the guys, and we decided that Minnesota made the most sense. So last night I drove over here. I've been interested in hunting Minnesota for years now, so I'm excited to actually get a chance to try it. I think the cool thing about Minnesota is there's tons and tons of different habitat across the state. I've been pinning different areas on the map for a long time, and it's cool to actually be here checking some of it out. I've never been in this particular area that I'm at right now, but a little bit of a backstory on it. I've been looking at it on the map for years, and back in August, I got a message from a guy named Mitch, and he was like, hey man, I've got this cabin in Minnesota. If you guys are ever in the area and you need a place to stay, you're more than welcome to stay at our cabin. And he ended up sending me the coordinates. I put it into my Onyx, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right by a bunch of places that I have marked that I'm interested in. So I decided to drive over here last night. I met up with Mitch and his brother Tate, had a blast telling hunting stories and talking with those guys. Super cool of them to let me just come stay at their cabin. And really for the next 2 or 3 days, I gotta edit a bunch of video and podcasts. So I'm gonna be doing that. I'm not gonna be hunting for the next couple days, but in the morning and in the evening, first and last light, I'm gonna spend some time driving around, checking out these different public land areas. And when we do that, it usually pays off for us in the long run. This area that I'm scouting right now is kind of a unique mix of ag land, plains land, marshland, and kind of even a Northwoods feel to it. There's even oaks scattered in, so it's just a very unique habitat. I've never really been in anything quite like this. I've been in stuff similar, but not quite like this. So I'm gonna scout here for a little bit. Here in a couple days when I'm done editing, I think Keith is gonna come up and join me, which I'm excited about. I haven't hunted with Keith much this year at all, so pretty excited to hunt with him. There's a deer right there. Good luck. I'm excited to be in Minnesota. First time holding the tag in this state. Dreamed about this day for a long time. So we'll catch up with y'all later.
Matthews against a bear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta shoot this thing.
Old school.
Old school. Forgot how to put one of these on. Wow, them things do draw a smooth hit. Oh my gosh. That's why I don't shoot a wrist release. You see me jerk that thing?
I did, for sure. I was hoping that that's what you were going to comment on and not be like, dude, that felt great. It didn't. Like, it didn't look good. That looked a little smooth.
Yeah, that felt better. Actually, this is actually really impressive. I'm buying one.
You think so?
Absolutely, I am. You want to try this?
Yeah, I do want to try that.
So
You're
this is how you
that
hold
wrong.
it?
No. That pressure's gonna come. You're gonna get your thumb on there. And
So am I doing that wrong still?
no, that's right. And then it's gonna be like this.
So how does this close back up?
Wow, you straight up never shot one.
Never
of them,
shot.
huh?
I don't know that
knows
it.
nothing about bows.
Okay. Okay.
And then just
Okay.
yeah. So then keep your thumb down until you're ready to like relax and actually settle your
I'm
pin
going to
up.
go like this.
Yep.
My hair's probably going to pull this trigger.
Jeez. So
I don't like it. I don't like it. I've shot that same exact release since I was a teenager. You know, I had one other release ever, and I just switched to this one because it looked more like the one my dad was using.
really?
Yep. I was super thankful that Mitch and Tate were giving me a place to stay. I was able to get a lot of work done there, and I had a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. Pretty much right away, I knew that these guys were going to be friends of mine for life. We just hit it off really well. We're having a blast telling hunting stories and getting to know each other, but the whole time that I was there, I had intentions of hunting public land in the hill country region of the state where I had filmed Jake in 2018 during the Public Land Challenge, and I had turkey hunted there multiple times. So when I finally got done with the work, I said goodbye to the brothers and headed out to meet Keith in the hill country. I just felt like I had a lot of confidence in that area, and I had started to learn the landscape and had areas that I was interested in going back to. As soon as we got there, we were overwhelmed with the number of people that were on the public land. There are so many people hunting and participating in other forms of recreation that we weren't even able to find available campsites. So after 2 days of never even getting out of the truck and just seeing people everywhere we went, we decided that we're going to hit the road and head back to Mitch and Tate's place. By going back there, we knew at the very least we were going to be able to enjoy sharing camp with fellow bow hunters with kind of that classic deer camp feel. All right, so we did enough driving around in the part of the state that we were at where there were some hills, and we decided that we need to get out. So we just saw tons of people. It was kind of overwhelming. Kind of forced us into getting out of our comfort zone or in a different area completely than what we've ever hunted. So kind of just looking forward to trying something different. I think up to this point, I've already kind of explained what we're dealing with here. It's just pretty open, pretty flat, but we're gonna start putting boots on the ground. All I've ever done up to this point is just drove around all these areas, and there's definitely deer, definitely bucks. So pretty excited. Hunting Minnesota. Finally gonna get out of the truck and go hunting.
Pucker up. Get their shooting rifles in the flat. Saw a few does and that was it, but I saw a bunch of sign in this area just driving down the road when I was here, so figured we'd come look at it, but we're gonna go back to the truck. I got some different areas, probably start walking in places and putting boots on the ground. Pretty exciting. We're gonna start figuring it out. Rub from this season we've seen just in this little band. Brush between two cattails. It's kind of like the skinny part of an hourglass. It's just this little brush patch that's dry and there's a fresh rub. Definitely deer working these transition lines, no doubt. Just gotta find something with more fresh sign, we think.
All right, so it's 4 o'clock and we're gonna go into this place that I've been driving around quite a bit, and I've been seeing deer on a green field, but they're all coming out of the public land. The public-private line is that field, so what we're gonna do is just work our way into the wind, covering the property boundary. Then whenever we see sign, we're probably gonna set up. We're gonna take saddles with us. In this situation, I feel like climbing up to a tree to just observe, get visuals, and then when we need to get aggressive, we're gonna get out and make stalks, or we're just gonna push really tight to where we can get as close as possible to where we think bucks are bedding and set up on the ground. With it being so flat here, there's not a whole lot of opportunity to get up to a high point in glass, which is typically what we like doing. But in this super flat stuff, I mean, it's a unique situation, calls for some unique tactics. I'm excited about it.
Big old tall rub right there. It's like real fresh, like green. We just jumped. Hey deer, we just passed a fresh rub, like super fresh. But we don't know what that deer was. Can we just get to the edge of these trees, and if it opens up, just set up? We're up in this tree on this edge, and right there's the field where we've been seeing the deer. There's already one out there, and we also saw another deer come across this big opening. There's also a mysterious dog out there, that if it's a coyote, it's a huge coyote, or a wolf. I'm not really sure if my mind's playing tricks on me or not, but it looks big, and it just seems pretty chill out there. It's laying down. I think I filmed it laying down. Just an observation set, more or less. I mean, on the way in here, we saw tons of sign. There's tons of transition lines in here, and we're just trying to get up high to where we can see a lot. I mean, I honestly feel so awkward in this saddle. Who knows? Maybe we'll see one with a few minutes left and be able to make a move to cut the distance and get a shot, but really just trying to learn this area, and we definitely have confirmed that there's a lot of deer in here, so just see what happens tonight, and then we'll continue to make game plans to hunt this area down. Yeah, there's a deer coming down this edge. 2-year-old buck. See this one? I seriously wanted to do a tag in that moment so bad, because that was chipper. Well, we definitely learned some stuff tonight. We saw a ton of deer. Saw one smaller buck. He seemed like he was cruising pretty hard. We saw other does too, all over the place, just kind of going every which direction. So just know that there's high numbers of deer, and this time of the year, that's what we really like to find. I mean, some of my best late October hunts have just been in high deer density areas, so you'll definitely see us back in this spot. It's only day one hunting Minnesota, so we feel pretty confident. We kind of have a standard set now for what's really good buck sign, and we're going to keep looking for other spots. That way we can be as aggressive as possible in these areas. We can just bounce from one to the next, and we got options no matter what the wind or conditions are. So, pretty good first day, dude. Pretty great.
That night we got back to the cabin, and Mitch and Tate's cousin Devin had just shot his first deer with a bow. We were super excited for him. It was a big doe, and we celebrated by cooking up the heart and telling our stories from what happened that night.
You tell him about our wolf?
Yeah, I did tell him about it. He said, oh, you definitely saw a wolf.
Find anything cool?
It's crazy.
We got a wolf on our hand. You ever seen one?
And he laid down right there.
I'd like to honestly get way closer footage. It'd probably be insane.
Yeah. It's day 2 here, and we're back in the piece that we hunted last night, just a different access point. We're gonna hike in here and just scout as much as we can. We slept in this morning because it's blowing like probably 40, 50 mile an hour at times. While we're doing that, it's gonna give us great conditions to potentially sneak up on something. If something is moving around and we can get eyes on it, there's a pretty good chance we're gonna be able to get close to it. So there's just so many different transition lines out here that we're gonna just cover as many as we can and just try to find areas that have buck sign in them. When we find the buck sign, that's where we're gonna try to revisit here when the weather continues to get better. We're gonna get in there, run around, and have a good time. Let's hunt. After our observation setup on day 1 and scouting around on day 2 in that same area, we started to put together a plan of how we figured bucks were going to be cruising through that area. While we were scouting, we found a bunch of doe beds, and we found buck trails that had rubs on them that were confirming that they were using them this season, and that made us feel super confident going back to that same area for the morning of day 3.
Man, that looks sharp. Dude, does this look good?
Is this sharp looking?
One of the most important things you're putting your face paint on is looking cool, man.
Making sure you look good.
I mean, you've seen the TV hunks. Look how important it is. It's got them on the TV. Like, dude, that looks sharp.
Alright, so it's pretty much the first morning hunt for me of the season. We've been out glassing a lot, but haven't actually deer hunted in the morning yet. So Keith and I scouted that spot yesterday, and we saw a bunch of good sign back in there. And then the night before, we saw a bunch of deer coming right out of that spot. We know there's a bunch of does bedding in there. We found a bunch of doe beds. We saw does coming out of there, going to that green field. And we just think that we can get on a specific transition line where bucks are going to be cruising, crossing those doe trails. We got a west wind. It's about the perfect wind speed. We got rain last night, so everything's a little bit damp. And we decided that we're gonna just push in and try to get as much in the middle of the action as possible. It's gonna be aggressive, but we're already like racking up the spots that we feel confident in. We have options if we get too aggressive in this area. We can bounce to other spots that we feel confident in. But I'm pretty excited about this. I think this could like really just work and could be the hunt, you know? So it's gonna be a good time. Let's hunt. It's gonna be challenging. Just gotta take our time. Like 100 yards from here. Yeah, 150 top. couldn't see him till literally that last second when you stood up or when you got up. I think I might have just hit him too high. I don't know. It didn't sound good at all. And I saw the arrow sticking out. Listen. It's too high, I think. Son of a very nice buck. Did you see him? I saw him. It's like right when I saw him, I zoomed in. It was just like... We did exactly what we did. The big buck walked right up to us. Dude, my heart was pounding so hard. I don't know that we got the buck is the thing. I think I might have hit him too high. It didn't sound good. I just heard crack. I just don't know. Keith and I talked about last night, like, man, I think we should just push to, like, the middle. And we did it. I mean, I bet he was right there. I think he just heard us shuffling around in here, and then he started, like, you could hear him, like, we just started making enough noise, and we were pulling grass and cracking sticks, yeah. Unbelievable. I guess we just can sit here and wait. Let's watch that one. It's just like, definitely sounds like it cracks bone. And he ran up there and he stopped, which, I mean, can mean a number of things, but then it sounded like he either took off again or he crashed. And I don't know which one it was. The thing that I don't like about it is the arrow sticking out in that loud crack. And I don't know if it was too high or not. I mean, something tells me that, like, it might be too high, which just sucks. I have no reference. You don't really know what to do unless you, like, watch one fall. Yeah, he's either dead or it's a non-lethal hit, I would say. Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. It's like it's either too high and just hit that big part of this. It sounds like it's a liver shot where we're like, we gotta sit here for 6 hours. Right. If I messed up on the shot, that's on me, but, like, as far as what, you know, our strategy was, I'm pretty proud of that. We got some backup spots. It was like, let's just get in and hunt it. Yeah. Be aggressive in these spots that we know we feel super confident in. Mm-hmm. If you tiptoe around, a morning goes by, then another evening goes by, then another day, then another day, then another day, and next thing you know, you're just, like, wondering still, like, man, what happens if we go in there? But then you also have it in the back of your mind too. It's like, man, I've been hunting that area a lot. Am I putting too much pressure on it? Well, if you just go straight to the X, especially when you have the conditions for it. This morning, it's super damp, so we were able to sneak way in here. I mean, we're deep in the thick, and we didn't spook a single deer. I'm hopeful, but I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous. We went in here, and I'd been seeing deer when I was editing. I'd been seeing deer on this green field bordering this piece. We start coming in here, and it's like, just keeps looking better and better. Just get right out to this point. It's like a meadow here, not a ton of cover, but, you know, down at deer level, it's just super grassy. It's like immediately there's a deer moving right in front of us at, like, point blank. I don't know, he messes around for a long time, and I just stayed drawn, and I should have let down. And he eventually just walked out 20 yards broadside, wasn't ever even looking at us, and I stopped him, and I made a ton of noise, and he just looked at us, and he was so close. I shoot, and it hits him immediately. He doesn't look like he drops in the footage at all, but it sounded like a whack, and he just took off running, and there was arrows sticking out, so I just don't know.
I mean, you probably just shoved it through his shoulder.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping. We just don't know. My gut says that something is not good.
It could have just been the way that his shoulder blade was oriented, like the way he was standing, and like
that too.
I mean, he punched right through that, like probably just drilled his lung. Like, you don't remember when he ran if it was like forward or.
By the time I saw the arrow, he was like facing straight away from me, and I just saw it sticking out.
So you kind of know where he went, like audibly, but you didn't see because it's probably way too thick.
Yeah, I mean, he made it, 60 yards, and then he's out of sight.
Sounds like he's not anywhere close.
Yeah, I thought about just giving it a little look for blood, and then just maybe even back out. I don't know.
Right. You don't have any rain coming?
No.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
I don't know.
One minute it sounds good, the next it's like, kind of sounds like a high hit.
You want to get that coffee rolling now?
like it's so much of a whack. It just doesn't sound right to me. Or like even this one that Warp shot. Listen how much different this sounds. Doesn't that still have more of a to you?
Yeah.
Or this is just like crack. I think he's quarter two, and if I hit him right there, and that's just the arrow hitting his bone, then he's dead. Like, I'm not worried about the penetration really at all. I'm mostly just worried about not being too high or not.
But at 18 yards with a single bevel blade, fixed blade, dude, that arrow should have had all the force it needed to get enough penetration.
Yeah, again, as long as it's not too high.
If you find where he bedded and got back up or whatever, and you think it wasn't lethal, I mean, at that point, it's not that you went out too early, it's that he's probably not dead.
If he's not dead, he probably just kept running. You know, like he probably isn't gonna bed, you know. I think what we're gonna do is just go look, and then if we need to make a plan B, we can line up the dog thing and just see what happens.
Yeah, we're whatever. If you need anything, just let us know.
It's 1:33. We're gonna go back here and look for this buck. We do have the option of a dog, and the reason that we chose not to use the dog in this situation, we probably have a better chance with 4 or 5 hours left in the day to get a follow-up shot, where if we come in here with a dog, it's probably gonna stir things up a little bit more and make it way harder to get a follow-up shot. I think if the situation was different and the shot was back, then we would probably approach this a lot different and use a dog, but it's either perfect or too high. And those are the two options that we're gonna go try to find out. All right, so right back there is where we shot him from. And then right here is the trail that he came down. I'm thinking that because he was on this trail like this, that he was probably more quarter two than I thought. I'm hoping that's why there's that loud crack, and I'm hoping that I shot low enough. So pretty sure he went right down this trail and then peeled back to the left. We're just basically gonna, start following it and see what happens. Sure ain't much, but it's something. At least telling us we're in the right direction. Pretty bare minimum right there, but it's on there. Do you hear that? We got some guys just trouncing around in here.
Found it? Yeah.
Public land, baby. That's what happened. I mean, those guys are literally right where he's headed, so I don't know. Nothing we can do. You saw those guys. They got more in on over there.
Oh, hello. Your Colorado truck?
Yeah.
Wow. What are you tracking?
Buck.
Okay. I was gonna say I kicked the deer out of there, but it wasn't a buck.
You guys just scouting or what?
No, working.
Working? You guys.
We work the DNR.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like we manage this land.
Nice. What's your mission today? Just going and.
Looking for illegal deer stands, actually.
But I can tell you where some are.
Yeah. Well, do you have any up so we don't like?
No, I don't have any stands up. No.
Well, if you
Yeah.
want to tell us where they are.
Can't have a stand on here at all. We
Right.
can't leave it overnight.
So then there's one like right in here. Yesterday when we were scouting in here, we dropped down in here. I mean, it's thicker through there.
Yep.
Okay, so did you see the trail camera that's right?
Nope.
Right there, there's a camera too.
Oh.
Which, not mine either.
Well, if you brought it out this
brought it
morning
out
and
this
picked it up in
morning.
the evening, yeah. And I don't like. I mean, we're not sitting here looking for every. But when these are like obviously left in the tree, it starts causing damage. And
I mean,
Good luck finding it.
yeah, thank
if we
you.
find it.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you guys. Yeah. DNR workers looking for illegal stands. Really? Yeah. Cool dudes. Believe it or not, I like to talk to them. Classic example of Zach talking someone's ear off. Just met Matt and John over there. And they're checking for stands. You're not allowed to have a permanent stand out here, like not even overnight. Like that trail camera we found.
And there's a stand up there too.
And I told him about it. We've been probably making it, I don't know, 100 yards.
160 from the shot.
Okay. Okay. I mean, he could just be right in here somewhere. This is the direction we heard that crashing, but we might have just heard him go through that timber. Yeah, but I'm hoping now that it just broke that front shoulder. That's all we're hoping for. And then like it died down, and then it's like, and now all of a sudden we're on pretty consistent blood. I'm just feeling weird because we probably went 500 yards or more. I'm just tracking a deer in your state.
Oh. How much penetration did you get?
I don't know. I think there was 6 to 10 inches of arrow sticking out.
Oh, you got in there pretty deep, didn't you?
Yeah, but we've tracked him so far. I mean, we're still just like, he hasn't bedded. Do you think stay on blood, or do you think bail out at this point?
I mean, I don't know if it's dead yet, or does it need more time? I mean, the only thing that, for me, as me personally, is don't start grid searching.
Yeah.
As soon as, if you want to move slowly and quietly like you're doing,
Yep.
and then as soon as it starts getting sketchy, just mark it with tissue or something so I know exactly where it's at.
Yep.
Don't drop, I mean, I don't want to be looking at a pin on Onyx. I want to see something physically on the ground.
Yep, we'll get you something there.
And when I get out of this volleyball game with my daughter, I'll call you and see what's up. If I need to head up there, I will.
Man, that'd be pretty sweet. I'd love to have you.
So we'll figure out whether it's dead or it's alive.
Okay. Sounds good.
Later.
See ya. That's what friends are for, I guess. Dude is just like, I'll be there tonight if you want me to be. I mean, he's just going and going and going. He's never bedded. Got a couple markers here. That's last blood. I mean, I don't know. None of it's good. I think that's the thing. It's just like, at this point, I clearly did some things wrong. So, just gotta see if Shane can, help confirm that it's non-lethal, or maybe we'll find him tomorrow. I don't know. But at this point, it's getting dark, and just talk with him and then come back here in the morning. Let's get out of here.
Don't film all the mess in this truck. I live out of this truck.
That's amazing. This old thing still runs.
You have 316,000 miles?
That's awesome.
I don't think she's got long enough. I'm hearing some weird noises.
Yeah.
You ready, girl?
Come on over. Come on over.
Don't let her jump out. She's gone, and we won't have a tracking dog.
So this is kind of the angle that he was at, and I'm thinking that I was definitely in this quarter. I don't think that it was that high.
Yeah, you get up that high, then you're in
No man's
trouble.
land.
Yeah.
But
I hope you didn't hit too high. That's my only concern.
if he was hit double lung, could he have made it 650 yards?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Man, we've tracked deer that double lung that lived.
Really?
I mean, had trail cam pictures of them later with a perfect hole on either side. And, it's amazing what these, especially these rut bucks can do. They're like, we call them zombie deer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I tracked one year. I'll give you one more example. We tracked one year, double lung and lacerated the heart. Now, it didn't cut the chamber open, but it put a big cut right through the heart. 1,500 yards it went.
And then died.
Yeah.
I think I might have hit him too high.
That's important, though. Usually your initial thought is usually accurate.
Yeah.
Because when I talk to hunters and they start rethinking it, and 10 hours later they convince themselves it was different. And I'm like, what was your initial response? Oh, I thought the shot was great.
Mm-hmm.
We track it, the shot was great.
Yeah.
I'm like, go with your initial thought of what happened. A non-pass through and you're hunting from the ground, they don't usually offer a lot of blood to follow. And we may see muscle blood on the trail, but you're always going to have that because when you poke through the sides, you're cutting muscle. See, now that gets a little brighter. A little, I don't know. There's some darkness here, and it's really light there. It's hard to say. Sometimes blood is deceiving. Hopefully, we can find a deer and we can answer all these questions.
So we shot, let him go for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then we worked up and around here. And again, we didn't talk on the way out through here. And then we went back to the truck, came back at like 1:30. By the time we started tracking, it was probably 2. It was probably 4:30 when I was calling you.
Yeah, you gave him a fair amount of time. So,
all right, let's do it.
let's see what she takes. Let's see if she makes it the last blood. You're pretty sure you know what the last blood is?
Exactly. It's all marked too.
Callie, you ready? Find it, girl. Find it.
Alright, so we're on the track with Callie. And we had last blood through that timber, if I remember correctly. I feel like being here, I remember exactly our moves, because this is where I was starting to feel like he might be bedded.
I saw the tissue when I went by. Find it.
So once Shane got Callie started on the trail, they immediately took off on the same line that the buck was traveling when we were following blood the night before. They followed that same line until Callie stopped and started making circles, and we caught up with them and sat down and talked with Shane about what they had found so far.
From there, and then right here, she started doing circles, and then she just started walking back.
I mean, it's pretty much the direction that we thought was
Yeah, we'll take
one
her
of
back.
the most probable.
Sit, stay, just relax, rest up a little bit, catch your breath.
So what we're gonna do is go back to where that last blood was, try to get Callie back on it and see what happens from there. I mean, Shane said sometimes, you know, you could walk right past the deer, or she could get on a different deer's trail or something and, you know, get messed up. So all hope is not lost yet, but it's not looking good.
We took Callie back to last blood to try again. Shane explained to us that 70% of the time when the deer is dead, Callie finds it on the first go. The other 30% of the time, she finds him on the second try. On the next try, Callie led Shane past the spot they had stopped at the first attempt and continued in that same general direction that the buck had been headed the whole time.
And I thought we were on it. We went way down there, and all of a sudden she popped her head. We went to a thicket that looked great. I said, this is the place I'd go if I was a buck.
Way up there, you can smell a big, strong, ruddy buck. Sometimes I smell them before we find the deer, but never saw anything. And then a moose and its calf went zipping by out front of us.
Yeah, they're out here.
One of the things that's super helpful in this situation, and something I find myself using more and more, is the OnX tracking tool. Whatever application you choose to use, if you're using a tracking tool, I think it really helps when you're tracking a deer. In this situation, it helped us know exactly where we had covered, and we could compare each route that Callie took when we restarted her on the trail.
So there's our first line, I guess, where we went, where she kind of backed up in there, and then I brought her back. And then the second one, this is the one that seemed like she was tracking something.
Yeah.
And it got here, and she did circles. And then she just started falling back. If I had to guess, the deer did that, and it continued on. And the fact that it went that far tells me that's a non-lethal hit. That's a long ways for a deer to go. If you saw the arrows sticking out on a 1/4 and 2 shot, and then you started getting blood on the other side, the only way to explain that is you hit high enough where the back's narrower. The blood I saw in person looks like muscle blood. It'd be nice to locate this deer and we'd have the answer.
Yeah.
They're a tough critter, especially these rut bucks.
So what do you think? I mean, is there any point in doing anything else at this point, or you think just, since I think this is probably the situation that every hunter struggles with. When you're me in this situation, you're looking for that confirmation from somebody else. It's like, should I give up, or am I a bad guy if I give up at this point?
Like I said, if this was me out here tracking my deer with the dog, I'm pretty confident in her ability right now that that deer's not out here. Now, could it be dead 2 miles away? Possible. And there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Something that I learned from Shane is that Callie usually finds the deer when they're mortally wounded, because those deer leave a different scent behind that Callie can follow, even if there's no visible blood to follow. That's how, in a high deer density area, she's able to differentiate the deer that was hit from other deer that are moving in the area. But because deer that aren't fatally wounded don't leave that same scent, it usually means the shot was non-lethal.
You just sleeping now?
Yeah, she's wore out. She'll be ready for the next track.
We'll see you later. Thanks for your help.
Oh! She's sad too because she don't get a deer leg to shoot on.
no kidding.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
All right, good luck.
See ya.
Shoot some deer yourself. Send me a picture when you kill one.
I'm going tomorrow.
We have confirmed with Shane, I guess, that we made all the right decisions up to this point, and we didn't find him, and we're calling off the search. I mean, it's been a day and a half since we shot, and there's really not any more signs past the last blood we found yesterday. I know my tendency is to shoot high.
my gut instinct was that it was high. You know, I kind of expected this even right after I shot. I mean, you can tell I'm beating myself up about shooting high right out of the gate. You know, it would be a lot different if we hit him back. And I think that crack is probably just hitting too high in the scapula. I've hit bucks there before, especially when I was younger. 2019, I hit a buck, had blood coming out of him, quite a bit of it blood. But then Greg shot that same buck in January, and I think we're probably dealing with pretty much the same exact thing on this one. I'd say that he just kept on going, he never bedded. Shane and Callie made multiple huge loops around, and you know, he said when you bring a dog out like that, you're just kind of confirming that the deer probably lived. Now, can never be sure, but as far as the effort we put into it, I feel good about. You know, this is a situation that a lot of hunters are in, and I hate it because I definitely know that I can do better, but I think just trying to focus on the positives. Our plan worked, so we should be proud of that. I mean, we came into a new area that we've never been to, and we got a shot opportunity. Sorry to the deer, sorry to everybody watching. I wish that that would have played out differently, but mistakes were made, and we're just gonna try to keep a positive mental attitude. It's probably the hardest thing to do in bow hunting, but we'll be all right. We just learn from the mistakes, man. I mean, focus on the positives and move forward. It's very tough, and if you're in a similar boat this season, you know, I encourage you to try your best to do the same. And I'm gonna be talking like I'm gonna do it really easily, but it hurts. It's hard. I feel terrible, and I really wish things would have went better, but hey, move on and we'll do better the next time.